how do you bridge that gap, and how do you vet out the people and prepare them for, the eventuality of, we got to get our hands around this and spend the time? Like, how do you counsel them on that?
One of the best questions
I
we've
would
ever
agree.
been asked, by the
100%.
way.
Yeah.
And I would say that is actually your brand, right?
Mhm.
The number one job of your brand is to precede you. Before anybody gets on the phone with you or on a Zoom call or meets you in person, they should already be familiar with you and what you stand for. Everything that you see out there about us on every platform will talk about a couple of different things. Number one, we build profitable personal brands. Number two, our mantra is change how you're seen and change how you're seen and charge what you're worth. And then third is a personal brand is a lot more than a photo, a logo, and a tagline. We look at 77 different criteria when we build a personal brand. If people see those things on the front end, they're expecting something totally different on the back end. They're already prepared for it. And that's actually what we help all our clients do, is build a brand that precedes you. So when your prospects get face to face, they already have their credit card in their hand.
And now here is singer-songwriter, broadcaster, audio-video artist, entertainment agent, and your host. It's the master storyteller himself, James Kevin O'Connor.
Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day.
All right, we're going to ride on for sure. You guys ready to take a ride with me, huh?
Ride on, ride on.
Yeah, I will tell you where we're going in just a second, but on today's episode, we are joined by two international best-selling authors and hosts of the Be Bold Branding podcast. Together, they are partners in BrandFace, where they have helped thousands of coaches, creators, and experts define, develop, and display their personal brands to change how they're seen and charge what they're worth. Their mantra is, people don't do business with a logo, they do business with a person. So you better strap up your seatbelts, because we're taking a ride today to Powell, Ohio, and we're going to hang out with the brilliance that's behind the Be Bold Branding podcast with Tonya Eberhart and Michael Carr. Well, I'm really happy to have both you, Tonya, and Michael on Podcasting Your Global Career. I really appreciate you guys coming on. And your company is BrandFace, correct?
Yes.
And we got a lot to talk about. So let's dive in. So when you guys got together, and Michael, you coming from a real estate background, how did that fold into what you were experiencing with Tonya, to say, how am I going to fit this in, or didn't even have to worry about it?
It was, I really was, I had a lot of trepidation about hiring somebody else. When you're young in business and I wasn't young, I had 20 years experience, but you're still learning every day. I still feel like I'm young. I'm 31 years now in business. I still feel like I'm learning, but I was had a certain amount of fear of hiring somebody else and getting involved. And I think that so many people experience that, because we put our best foot forward when we're selling a product, and you have to sort of believe that, and then you have to test whether those waters are real. And so I didn't really want to go down that road with Tonya, but the way she handled that and handled my expectations, which is literally her words that she taught me, I'm going to handle your expectations. The way she did that was so powerful to me. I thought, okay, she's got the goods. And I started to work with her. And then I knew instantly she knew what she was talking about. And I could let that side of my marketing, which I thought I needed, but she ended up teaching me branding, I could let it go because it was in the right hands. It was really, I went from not knowing to instantly, I agree with this. Please do it. And she did it, and delivered more than she promised.
part of your reticence to hire somebody, it's about trust, right? Because it's your baby, you've always done it, and it's like, nah, they're gonna muck it up somehow, and I can just see it's not gonna work out, right? And was that sort of holding you back, you think?
It was. It definitely was.
Yeah. So how long did it take you for the realization to say, wow, she's teaching me something special here?
She might help me more with this, but I'd say a month, maybe. Yeah, I do know this of the story. I was in San Bernardino, California. I was peppering her with questions. It was like middle afternoon, maybe 2:00, something like that. So, whatever, 12 o'clock to her or whatever it was, something around that. And I'm like peppering, and she said, listen, you've asked me every question that you can ask me. All you can do now is just trust that I'm going to do it. And I just took a deep breath and said, well, I trusted you 2 weeks ago. I was just giving you more hell than I had to. So let's get started.
So, Tonya, tell me how it was for you taking this real estate guy and working with him for the first time. Any challenges there? Was it like really superfluous? It just worked? Everything clicked? Or how did it go?
Well, I've got to say, I worked with people across probably 25, 30 different industries before.
Wow.
In the media world, and when I had a small agency before we became BrandFace. And Michael was my first BrandFace real estate client. So it was my first foray into the real estate world and personally branding somebody. So at first I thought, okay, this is going to be pretty easy, because in the real estate world, people are used to being the face of their business already. Their photos are on their business cards, they're on their yard signs a lot of times, and they're used to kind of putting their persona out there. And I thought this is an industry that could really, really use the help, because a lot of them put their face out there, but they really don't put their differentiation out there. And I knew there was a lot that I could teach. So when I started working with Michael, it was like butter, honestly. It was like he listened to everything. He was anxious to get it done. And he was like working with a thoroughbred, and you kind of had to hold back the reins, right? And that's where literally I would say to him, look, I handled his expectations by telling him I was going to handle his expectations. I said, Michael, let me handle your expectations. And at that moment, he knew that what he wanted yesterday was going to take at least another 48 hours. Right? And so I knew that
But I had a timeline.
He had a timeline. And then we had this thing where it's like, okay, all of these things cannot be a priority, Michael. So we're going to do the 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're going to put some things are to 1. That's a priority. Those things we take care of first. Second things are really important and right on the heels of that. And third need to happen sometime, but not this week. Right. And so then it became, let's turn those 3s into 1s. Right. So we had a lot of fun throughout the process, but it really taught me that when somebody wants it, when somebody gets it and understands it, that's the greatest client of all. And it doesn't really matter what industry they come from, because the principles of personal branding are exactly the same across every industry.
So when you come to a new client, what is the typical experience for you guys when you bring somebody in and they do not have the deep awareness that it takes to really understand how deep the branding component is? Because a lot of us think, and me, I'm a little more seasoned now because I've had experience with it and failed at it so many times, and then finally talked to people who knew what they were doing. But most of us are like, well, what's to that? You pick out some colors and you slap up a logo, and you go on Fiverr and spend $10 on a cartoon and put your photo in it. So you have to go from that to understanding like the whole process, which takes anything worthwhile, of course, takes time. So how do you bridge that gap, and how do you vet out the people and prepare them for the eventuality of, we got to get our hands around this and spend the time? Like, how do you counsel them on that?
One of the best questions we've ever been asked, 100%. By the way. Yeah. And I would say that is actually your brand. right? The number one job of your brand is to precede you. Before anybody gets on the phone with you or on a Zoom call or meets you in person, they should already be familiar with you and what you stand for. Everything that you see out there about us on every platform will talk about a couple of different things. Number one, we build profitable personal brands. Number two, our mantra is change how you're seen and charge what you're worth. And then third is a personal brand is a lot more than a photo, a logo, and a tagline. We look at 77 different criteria when we build a personal brand. If people see those things on the front end, they're expecting something totally different on the back end. They're already prepared for it. And that's actually what we help all our clients do, is build a brand that precedes you. So when your prospects get face to face, they already have their credit card in their hand.
Wow, that's great. Tell me about your either best story or most surprising story, or it might be a client that you thought you were going to lose them and all of a sudden they woke up. Do you have anything that you can share to let our audience know about the branding experience from your side, looking at the client coming in?
Oh, okay. I'll jump ahead on this one, Michael, because I'm so passionate about this one. This actually happened about 2 weeks ago. We have a lady who is in our mastermind program right now, and she is absolutely incredible, but she came into our mastermind program with very little self-confidence about where she was going. Now, when I say this woman is accomplished, let me tell you who she is. She is a cowboy poet. For anybody who's familiar with that term, it's a very unique profession and somebody who is hugely talented, absolutely talented. She was named Female Poet of the Year and also won Poetry Album of the Year 2 different times. Wow. So accomplished.
And also, I got to add this in, also Female Poet of the Year in Canada and in America in the same year, which has never happened before.
Wow.
Okay. So she's incredible. And when she steps up onto a stage, she transforms the audience with her storytelling and poetry. Okay, so she came into our program so that we could help her begin to understand the process of how you go from building a personal brand to actually making it more profitable. And so each step in, she opened up a little more, and then we helped her put that brand together in such a way that we actually delivered on exactly what we promised, except we over-delivered in this instance. Most of the people that we personally brand end up charging about 60% more than what they did coming into the program, simply because they're better positioned for it and they're seen more as an authority at that point. Plus, that brand is positioned to make them more profitable in terms of their programs, partners, and appearances. And so when we positioned her properly and helped her justify the price she was charging for a performance, she was able to command 300% more than she had ever been paid just 3 weeks into the program. And then she got another deal on top of that she was paid 200% more than she had ever been paid. And we were on the way to Virginia a couple of weeks ago, and she texted me and said, "You won't believe it. They accepted the offer. They just accepted it," right? And she was so overwhelmed and so grateful. We immediately picked up the phone and called her and had a 30-minute chat with her on the road. That is the kind of thing that we're talking about. And it doesn't really matter where you are in the process. If you're just starting a business, or like her, you've been doing it for 30 plus years, there's always something that you can learn about how you present yourself that will make people stand up and take notice and allow you to command more money for what you're doing.
Hey, if you guys are really digging what is going on in this interview, reach out to Tonya and Michael. You can do so at BrandFaceStar.com. That's BrandFaceStar.com. And also check them out on their podcast, the Be Bold Branding Podcast. You can find it on all the major podcast outlets. Now let's get right back to our interview with Tonya and Michael. So, great story. So my question is, what possessed her to raise her rates? Did you guys verbally suggest that? Or you did? Okay. So you said,
Oh, yes.
So you said you're not charging enough. You got to charge more. And did she push back and say, I don't know if I should do that because, or she said,
She expressed trepidation, like I did with Tonya originally, even for a different reason, right?
We're unworthy.
But she did. She pushed back a little bit, and Tonya just showed her like,
because she didn't think she was worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say this, James. Tonya has this unique ability in two different ways. Number one, she's an unbelievable writer, and she has the ability to draw out these great points about all humanity that sort of illuminates why you're here. Right.
Yeah.
Like, because we all have a part of the tapestry that we are here to fulfill. And Tonya has this gift of being able to like pull that out of you because you've buried it maybe, or because you're dealing with limited beliefs or things like that. And that's the first thing. And then the other thing is being versed in enough business that we both have been in, and international business, and being with big companies. She was with big media before she got started her own company. I was with big real estate and small real estate. And so we've got these opportunities to share with our clients what we have experienced and what people will do. And so Kate was able to say, you know what, I'm going to put my faith in that, even though I've never seen these steps before. I've never seen this landscape before, but I do believe you. And we knew she was unbelievably talented, and it didn't take us knowing that. She had already won, female poet, and in all these different areas of her life. She just wouldn't allow herself to believe that, and it's sort of like Tonya's ability to give them permission that makes the difference. It's sort of magical, I gotta say. And she did it, and then she was elated. And we've created a monster, but it was a monster that was already there. It just needed to be like unhinged.
Yeah, it seems that even though we have talents, all of us out there have these special talents. Everybody's gifted in some way, but most of us still need that permission slip, And it just tells me that you guys are not only talented at what you're doing, but you're also really great accountability people and coaches to be able to give somebody that extra. They just need that push sometimes, to just get them over the line. And then it's like, oh yeah, I had it all the time, but I just didn't really believe it,
Yes.
Let me ask you guys about, I'm assuming you do masterminds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I saw that in print, but it's pretty obvious talking to you. But tell me about your mastermind experience as far as when you first got acclimated to this, your first experience with it, and what did that do for you and your business?
Yeah. So first thing is we hesitated to do it for a very long time. We were doing a lot of one-to-one clients, of course. And we thought, well, this is personal branding. It's a very personal experience. So we're going to have to do this one-to-one. And then we realized, no, we don't. We can do this in a group setting because they will have more than us to lift them up. Mm-hmm. And it has been the most fantastic experience ever, because we realize, yes, we absolutely can do this. And I think another thing that makes our mastermind very unique is that it's not a do-it-yourself kind of setting. You don't just come in and, here's the principles, now go brand yourself. Yeah. We literally will take a 12-week process and brand that person and build that brand side by side for 12 weeks until the brand is complete. And I'm talking about not just complete and you have all the building blocks, but all of your everyday marketing platforms already display your brand. And so it's a fast pace. It's a great great moving mastermind, but it's literally changed how we do business. And we still do some of the one-to-ones because people have different needs. Some people's schedules are so busy, or they travel a lot and they just don't line up with the mastermind sessions we have, or they just prefer not to be in a group setting. So you have two different personalities there. And I've got to say, though, the mastermind process really surprised me.
Yeah, if I could pigtail on that, I love it. Like we discussed it for years.
Yeah.
We've been doing this going on our 12th year. We discussed it for years, like how can we do this exponentially? Like, we're meeting with people, we're helping people create careers and really showcase the stars that they are, and then putting that to work. But how can we do this? Like any business person is like, okay, what's the scalability of this?
Yeah.
But we always shied away from it. And finally we just took the leap and did it. And it's my favorite part now. I love the collaboration, because in our mastermind, when you're building brands, we don't ever put like two different same type of industries together in the same mastermind. So you really get like this attitude from and experience from other people in other industries that are not competing with you, that have great ideas that help shore that up.
That your industry's likely never thought of.
That your industry's never thought of. They can show you another facet of the diamond, right? Because it is multifaceted. Every human's multifaceted, and what we do is multifaceted. It's very rare that if you wanna go like work in a service industry like McDonald's or something like that, sure, they're gonna tell you, okay, here's fry station, here's grill station, here's prep station, of course you have that segmented. But most of us that are entrepreneurs realize that that's not the way real life is. And for us, like, we have to wear this hat tomorrow, this hat today, this hat today, to be able to service our clients. And when you get in a mastermind with other entrepreneurs, then they can offer you things that are an elevation to your brand that it's been exponential, and we've loved every second of it. It's been awesome. So masterminds are so important to us now.
Yeah, I just had recently, I used to have my own little ones, and my son was in one of them actually, and you'd be surprised what you can learn from youngsters. But I was in Salt Lake City in January, and we did a whole bunch of podcasts out there. I think we did 10 or 12, and then I was back again at the end of April, same thing. We had masterminding in between the podcasts, and it was just absolutely just like you described, Michael. It's like, wait a minute, you got a cross section of all these different businesses, yet the contributions are so valuable because we all interpret information so differently. And, if you're malleable enough to sit there and just open your mind, it's like, man, you can scoop up some gems just from sitting there taking notes and just listening to the way people think and verbalize their ideas. And so I was just over the moon about it, about the relationships and the friendships that developed from this experience. That's the ancillary benefit that you didn't even count on. It's like, wow, this could have legs. I could be friends with these people for decades, for life, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how often do you guys run your masterminds? Is it something you do quarterly, or do you just do it whenever a product's coming? Like, how does it work for you guys?
Yeah. So right now the plan is 3 a year.
Okay.
We have one that starts in January, one that starts in April, and one that starts in September.
Great.
And they run for 12 weeks. So we take them very seriously. We carefully consider who goes in there. We don't put any direct competitors in there, so everybody feels like they can come in and really speak freely and be themselves. They don't have to worry about any competition stealing their ideas. We all know that happens sometimes. So yeah, that's the game plan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Best client for you guys. What has been your experience thus far? Out there, I know it's coaches, speakers, authors, I guess. Is that the sweet spot for you guys, or where should we look to find you guys?
So basically, it's coaches who it's entrepreneurs, experts, as we say, who normally have multiple projects in their lives. So they're either an author, or they want to be when they're working on that book. They have a podcast, or want to have a podcast. They have a coaching program or a course, and they're doing some speaking. So that's a lot, right? And a lot of times those things are misaligned. So people feel like they're going in different directions, but none of those streams for them seem to be very profitable. And that's really where our expertise is. But the one thing they all have in common, James, is they have they have a life-changing message to share. And that life-changing message to share comes as a result of the personal journey that they have walked, any obstacles they may have overcome, and they have now built a business to help other people overcome those same obstacles. And so that's really what they all have in common, but they feel very scattered. They're thinking, I've got this client here and this client here. Can I talk to both of them with one brand? Do I need to talk to both of them with one brand? How do I make this brand more profitable, doing no more than I'm doing now and actually cutting back? And so those are a lot of the things that we look at. It literally is a whole lot more than just that photo, logo, and a tagline.
Yeah. It's hard for us to get lumped into that, where we're just graphic artist or something like that. That's just a tiny component of what we do. And I think that, I had a mentor years ago. He told me, he's like, he was in the car business, and he told me, he said, people, friends and family come to me and be like, hey, you're not going to make any profit on me, are you? And he's like, I got to make profit on you. My enemies won't buy from me. And I'm like, and it's funny because 20 years goes by and you don't think about these things because you're in an industry and, maybe you're doing really good or whatnot. But then Tonya sort of brought it to me, and it's one of the things that I really like about bringing to our clients. Yes, you have value, and you should not be ashamed to ask for that value. And yes, not everybody's going to pay for that value, but that is okay, right? It may not be a fit for them at a time. They may circle back around. You just have to focus on giving that value and get over being guilty for asking for that value. That's why we do what we do. It's why you have been brought to this place and experienced the things that you have experienced, is so you can help somebody else. And it's funny about us humans, we will pay somebody else a lot of times, right, for the knowledge that we know they have that we want, right? Everybody pays to go to school. You're going to make the mistakes yourself and waste a lot of money, or you're going to pay somebody who's already made the mistakes, probably about 10% of what you're going to waste, to pay them. But then when it comes time for us to charge it, we're like, I just can't ask for it. I just can't ask for it. And I'm telling all your listeners, ask for it. You've earned it. You've been through all that you've been through to teach you where you're at. Now you've got this product, and you're good at this product, and you've invented this product out of your need, and you want to share it with other people. It's okay to ask for a profit for that, because it's like the plumber said, when the guy, the plumber hands you the bill, and the guy's like, dude, you were only here like 30 minutes. This is $400. He's like, yeah, but I've been doing this 30 years. And the guy that's been doing it 5 would have took 4 hours. Like, I know what I'm doing. And it's worth it. And you're like, yep, that makes sense. And you write him the $400 check and you give it to him, right? And so I find it's really funny because all of us even battle it. Like, every one of us battles that. We have gained this knowledge, and now we want to share this knowledge, but we can't get over that hump of how do we charge for that knowledge. And we really try to help our clients build a brand that justifies that easily, so we can just have conversations. We're not hard sell people. We don't push people into something they're going to regret tomorrow. We want good fits, and we teach our clients to find good fits.
Well, I was going to ask you, as we're winding down, to give me something for people to take with them as to why they should go to you. So thank you for your clairvoyance, Michael. That was awesome. So, in wrapping up, what do you guys like to do for chill time? When you're getting away from business, you just don't want to do anything. What do you guys like to do?
We're gonna be doing it come Thursday.
Mm-hmm. No, we're headed out tomorrow.
Well, we won't do it till Thursday. We'll have to get up there tomorrow. Tomorrow's travel day.
Yeah, well, we have a little cabin, and when I say cabin, James, that was being generous when we first bought it. It's a little cabin on the New River in Galax, Virginia, and the river right by us is about 300 yards wide. Wow. It's absolutely stunning in a mountain backdrop. The house let's just say we bought that for the $1 million view.
Yeah, nice.
And we have spent the last, year and a half, almost 2 years, doing a lot of the cosmetic work ourselves, and just a labor of love. But that's where we get to chill, and that's our personal retreat. We kayak, we hike, we bike, we just live life.
Wow, you guys are wired the same way. My fiance and I are. We love all that. That's awesome. So good to get away and just be in God's playground. That's just the best,
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah. So, best place for people to connect with you guys. What is your preference?
Okay, head to BrandFaceStar.com, BrandFaceStar.com, and there you will be able to do anything you want. You can see what some of our past clients have said about us. Hopefully it'll all be good. You can get into some free training, and you can definitely connect with us there if you want to schedule something, a conversation with us about your brand.
Awesome. Tonya, Michael, thank you so much for being part of Podcasting Your Global Career. Really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your wisdom today. And in parting, I just want to wish all of God's blessings on you, your family, and your cabin.
Thank you, James.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
You'll have to come out and visit us.
Absolutely.
I would love it. I would love it. All right. Yeah. You guys be blessed.
Hey, if you guys like what's going on here, please leave a great review in the Apple Podcasts. I've left a simple review process in the show notes, and we'd really appreciate it. And also, don't be shy. Forward this to your best friend because you know they need it. Hey, if you need some coaching, hit up the link in the show notes. It's calendly.com/Dharmic. And you can take a little chance with me, and I'll get you on your way. That's a wrap for me today. I'm your host, James Kevin O'Connor. So until the next time when we meet again, I'll either see you on the socials or I'll see you from the stage. Ride on, baby, won't you take a ride with me? Ride on, we can untangle all the mystery. If wishes were windows, I'd open one and find that freedom is really a simple state of mind. So ride on, baby, won't you take a ride with me? Ride on, we can untangle all the mystery. Ride on, maybe, baby, you and I can find the key. Ride on, we can unlock each other's destiny. I taste the breeze of freedom, it's tingling on my tongue. You and I out on the road will stay each other's destiny. I'll take you places that you've never seen. I'll take you places that you never dreamed. I'll take you places that were pictures in your mind. I'll take you places beyond the reach of time. Ride on, baby, won't you take a ride with me? Ride on, we can untangle all the mystery. Ride on, maybe, baby, you and I can find the key. Ride on, we can unlock each other's destiny. So won't you take a ride with me? Take a ride with me. Want you to take